Chief Intelligence Correspondent Catherine Herridge has been working her sources since word of this horrific event broke, and she joins me on set now. Good evening, Catherine. What have you learned?
Well, based on our reporting today, we have two contacts who've been able to review the inventory of the weapons that were picked up. And what they're telling us is that everything that was recovered was high-end, expensive AR-15, AR-10s, price range between $1,500 and $3,000 a piece. And when you put in the scopes and the tripods as well, you're looking at an investment of over $100,000. And based on the timeline now, we know some of the weapons were purchased in June, maybe even some more recently. But that at least takes us back in the premeditation question, possibly about 3 months.
As that detail that Trace Gallagher reported about a camera being mounted outside may speak to premeditation, there are also indications that the shooter modified at least one of his weapons. What do you know about that?
Okay, our contacts are saying that the law enforcement has at least 2 receipts for something called a slide fire or a bump fire. This is a modification that allows you to take a semi-automatic weapon so that it can mimic an automatic weapon. I've had different assessments as to how easy it is to make the modification, that you can actually do it yourself. But what you lose is, that the focus of the weapon.
Precision.
Exactly. So if you're spraying indiscriminately, as was the case here, that would not be a big deal to you.
And that would also indicate some level of technical proficiency with the weaponry if he's aiming to modify it. And lastly, we know that investigators are, as they always do, following the money trail here.
That's
and
right.
What is that telling us?
We were able to confirm through a U.S. government official that they're looking at all of his financial transactions, and specifically tens of thousands of dollars that he sent to the Philippines. There was a lot of confusion over the location of the girlfriend. The sheriff said yesterday she was in Japan. What he said today is that she was in fact in transit. They now feel pretty confident that she's in the Philippines, and our contacts are saying that they're trying to determine whether he sent that money out to her in advance. Is a significant amount of money, but I would say to folks at home, the big shift we've seen is the way in which they're describing the girlfriend. Initially she was someone who had no role, then she was someone they wanted to talk to, and now they're using that phrase, person of interest. So you can see this is really escalating in terms of her importance. And
authorities are going to have a chance to question her sometime soon, correct?
It looks like it. They said at the news conference last hour that they're expecting to have information from her in the very near future. It's not clear to me whether she's coming back to the U.S. voluntarily or whether they're going to do an interview overseas. The FBI has the ability to do that with what's called a legat, and that would be someone on the ground in the Philippines.
Usually attached to an embassy.
That's correct.
Catherine Herridge, thank you as always.
You're welcome.